fucking keys, you fucking cocksucker motherfucker!
Knock it off. Get back. Number 3, step forward.
How many keys, you cocksucker?
In English, please.
Excuse me.
In English.
How many fucking keys, you cocksucker? What the fuck?
Number 4, step forward.
Get the bottle and bleach blonde comes on at 5. She can tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in her eye. It's interesting when people die. We need dirty laundry. Coming through with the operation is the head dead yet. And all the boys in the newsroom gotta run in bed. Get the widow on the set. We need dirty laundry. Yeah, we do.
Coy, just read what's on the paper.
Courier, get on the ground before I pop your fucking teeth out.
Come on, read it. Read it all. There's about 5 things there. Jeez, what the fuck is it with you guys in Charlestown? Don't they teach you how to read? Come on, let's go. There's things here. Read them.
I don't want to read that. This shit, it doesn't sound...
I'm not asking. It's not a choice. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. Read the page.
I'm trying to make the shit sound fucking authentitious. You got it all fucked up.
Arthur, what?
I got a great question. It was a great question. Why does an officer make an arrest and then somebody walks out on the back end of it? Well, we need probable cause to make an arrest. And then once we made our arrest, we present to the district attorney. Now, crimes are dropped for any number of reasons. Any number. DA's not comfortable with the arrest. He doesn't feel the evidence is collaborated enough. It's not sufficient to uphold the charge. Plea deals are made. They find the investigation to be uncredible. Not incredible, uncredible. I've had people make complaints when I was a detective handling complaints, and the crime is nothing what they said. All the evidence doesn't match up. My interviews don't match up. Everybody's telling the same story. There's any number of reasons why a crime can be dropped, why it's declined to be prosecuted. That's what it comes down to. Now, the complaint gives us a crime. They file a complaint report, the whole 9 yards, and it is our job to investigate it, to assign blame, and to make an arrest if possible. If it is against the penal code, that's what it comes down to, the penal code. Have I made arrests that have been voided later on? Yes, I've made arrests where I made a deal with the perp in exchange for more information. It's called a proffer for a lesser crime being charged with the district attorney's office. Or I've had complaint reports where all my leads have been exhausted and it's impossible legally for me to go further. Happens all the time. I've had complaint reports that complaint victims have outright lied to me. Lied to get somebody on paper. We investigate it, and listen, I'm only investigating the crime that's on the paper. You tell me that somebody stole a car and there's no evidence of the fact that he stole the car, and where does that lead me? The crime you're complaining about, in the eyes of the law, never happened. This is not a TV show. I get named a perp and go rough him up and get him to confess. It's not. There's evidence that needs to be supplied to substantiate the charges, is what it comes down to. And, cases just time out, too. You're supposed to there's a checklist you do. That's what police work has come down to. Detectives get a checklist, and they have to go through this list, run every part of that list, and if no results are yielded from it, then where do you go? I mean, you move on to the next case, because that one case comes in. You can't spend an entire career looking at one case. You have to go with the flow. It's like when I was a cop in uniform pushing a radio car. You know, you start the tour and the radio is holding 75 jobs. Now you bang off 2, but the jobs are still coming in. So you think you're down to 73 jobs and you're really up to 80. It's triage, people. It's just triage. I've had cases that have fallen apart in court. It happens. And a good detective won't present that case to district attorney till it's airtight. When I worked in a bureau that we didn't receive kites, which we used to call them kites, complaint reports. We were self-generating. So we got a wind of a crime and we investigated to the best of our abilities. Some people never knew we were looking into them. You never want to see us coming, especially in organized crime. You never want to see us coming, because when you see us coming, people change how they act and change things up, and they make it harder to investigate. And then when you meet the burden of exhaustion, because you got to prove that to a judge to get a warrant, the burden of exhaustion. We're not going to get this evidence until we hit this door. I'm not going to have anything on this case unless I get a wiretap. Exhaustion needs to be proved to further the case. Now, I get a complaint report with a named perp. He's in there, you know. There were certain aspects we're looking for. We're looking for credibility in the victim. How credible is this victim? Were they really aware of what happened? Maybe the guy has good reason for doing what he was doing. Cases unravel like that. It's just, and it doesn't stop at the perp. We also look at the victimology. It's a word made up of the NYPD. It's not a real word, but we use it. The victimology. What makes up the victim? Who they are. Do they have any ties to law enforcement? Are they making this complaint over and over and over again? Victimize and the behavior of the victim after the crime goes into it. Like if I get a guy who's been robbed, he names a perp. This is the guy that robbed me, Leon Jones, who lives on Maple and Midwood. I go down and I see my complainant tormenting Leon Jones. There's no fear there. I know he's not scared of him. So how'd you get robbed if you weren't scared of him? Most people give up their stuff when they're robbed because of strong-arm tactics, or their life is in danger. They're in fear. But if my complainant is beating the shit out of Leon Jones, and it turns out Leon Jones was the one getting robbed by my complainant, who got beat on 1 or 2 times because he took advantage of a situation. Yeah, that's not the complaint I want. That's a waste of my fucking time. And most detectives and district attorneys agree. The more cases we bring, the less attention they get. Now, if you don't bring probable cause, if you don't wrap it up your case within 90 days, you need to move on to another case because it's a dead end. I mean, that's why things are dropped. No other reason. It's not because we're not interested. It's not because we don't want to investigate it. It's just because it's going nowhere. Are there a lot of people in this world walking the streets because there was no... Yeah, absolutely. They're going to beat it in trial, so why go to trial? And you got to remember, too, we go to trial on something and we're not ready, or we're not 100% airtight on it, and they walk on that charge. We can't charge them again with it. Double jeopardy. We can't charge... So you want to make that one shot you got count. You're looking for headshots. Just pure, unadulterated, I'm going to make this 100% headshots. Because once you throw those dice, they're not coming back. Unlike a boomerang. Or unlike police work itself in the precinct, just being a cop, where it always comes back to haunt you. That's why cases get dropped. It's what does the prosecution get out of it? Can they make this case? How is it even worth prosecuting? I mean, especially he said, she said crimes, or he said, or she said, she said. If there's no corroborating evidence, you can't. And conspiracy crimes are even worse because you're trying to rope a whole bunch of people into the conspiracy. Now, conspiracy is more than 3, which in organized crime made up organized crime. Conspiracy, more than 3. Organized, more people to control, and needs to be organized. That's why I investigated gangs, because gangs are an organized crime element. It's just that easy. Now, how do you, in a conspiracy, you got to prove every person culpable in some way. Culpability is big word for some people, culpability. I got to prove they knew they were committing the crime and what made them part of the crime. I got to show that they knew they were responsible for it, or they had some responsibility in it. Now, complicity, I can't even say the word, being complicit in a crime. They had to know they were acting in bad faith that something was going to that what their contributing activities were contributing to the crime being committed. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Culpability, conspiracy, and being complicit. Now, if I get somebody culpable in a crime who's part of a conspiracy, I need corroborating evidence, not just their word anymore. I need more than just their word to prosecute the crime. Statements, hence the word proffer. I got you, but I don't have the rest of your group. But I want the rest of your group. I want the whole element off the streets. So, you have to give me something. I have to investigate that something else. Prove everybody in the conspiracy was culpable of the crime and complicit in committing the crime. Gets confusing, folks. I know it really does. And with that evidence, I can prosecute all of them. Even the person who cooperated with us. Another C word, cooperated. But they get a lesser charge. This is in return for that one proffer, not the whole group. I'm not giving a group a lesser charge just to get them to stop. They're going to get hit with the whole bulk. Just one person. The cooperator. Fucking words everywhere, bro. Bro, words everywhere. The cooperator gets the lesser charge. He gets the proffer, or she gets the proffer. Could it be a team proffer? Yeah, I can have 3 or 4 people in that conspiracy cooperate with law enforcement, give me corroborative evidence against. Jesus Christ, say that 10 times fast. Anyway, folks, I'm Dutch Doyle. I worked organized crime, did 21 years in the police department. I was a detective. I hope I answered that email. This is a quick video. It's 9 minutes in already, so I got to put an intro and an outro to it. Might as well get credit for the fucking video, right? Right? Okay, so anyway. Folks, my record speaks for itself only if you know how to read. I want you to enjoy your fucking day.
This job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. A woman done left and took all the reason I was working for. You better not try to stand in my way as I'm walking out the door. Take this job and shove it.
I saw you with the box. What was in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
What's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's
gun.
in the fucking box?
Give me the gun.